there's always a potential threat that there could set off another fire.
Cleanup is underway right now at a dangerous site in Macomb County. What hazardous material crews are looking out for. Today, J.D. Vance told West Michigan voters the state is going red, how he promises to boost Michigan's economy. Hey there, Kim, it is a hot one.
I know you're loving this weather, but a lot of people are looking for a break from it. Right now, there's a heat advisory in effect as the temperature has now popped up to 94 degrees. We'll talk about when we do get that relief coming up first at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
Welcome to Local 4 News. First at 4, we begin today with a forewarned weather alert. Heat advisories are in effect across Metro Detroit. Many students were sent home early because their classrooms were not equipped to handle temperatures like this. Brian Sherman is live this afternoon to talk about the impact on schools in the area. Meantime, Kim Adams here right now in studio tracking how much longer until this heat taps out. Kim?
Well, it's going to take a little while to get this humid air mass completely out of here, but today will be one of the warmest days of the week as our heat index now has reached 100 degrees at Metro Airport City. Mount Clemens, 102 is what it feels like over in Ann Arbor. So we continue to have a heat advisory in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. Look at the heat index across the country. Right now in Chicago, it feels like it's 115 degrees, 108 in St. Louis, upper 90s in Indianapolis, 97 in Columbus, but cooler back to the west, Green Bay 73, where they've had some showers and thunderstorms. So we'll continue this heat advisory at least through 10 o'clock tonight. And we're also tracking a few thunderstorms that are developing out to our north and west. And coming up, we'll talk about whether or not you need to adjust your plans for this evening. Temps are going to be hot, though, all the way through the morning hours tomorrow. So we'll talk more about those storms. And there is some relief, especially for the Labor Day forecast, which is coming up.
And good afternoon, everyone. As Karen and Kim were just talking about, schools across the region have decided to either cancel classes yet again today or send kids home early just because of how hot it is outside and how hot some of these classrooms are. We're live here at Pontiac High School, one of my CTE classrooms here. About 20 minutes ago, we put a thermometer down in one of my rooms here, and taking a look at it, yeah, let's just say it's really hot in one of these rooms, 81.6 degrees. It is after hours here. I must preface it with that. But this time last year, after the kids came back, I do remember a day that Pontiac School District did either send kids home early or cancel classes for the day just because of how hot it is. And when the temperatures get this hot, these classrooms really just cannot handle 20, 30, 35 kids in them. And there were quite a few districts that decided to alter the bell schedule now that those kids are already back in session as we head into the Labor Day weekend. Here's just a few of those school districts. The big one, Detroit Public Schools Community District, decided to operate on a 3-hour early dismissal for those kids yesterday and today. Barack Obama Leadership Academy, East Point Community Schools sent their kids home at a half day, close to lunchtime early today. Southfield Public Schools in Oakland County just closed altogether today, and Grand Rapids Public Schools decided to send the kids home early due to the extreme temperatures as well. It's just the air temperature with the humidity making it feel real uncomfortable in some of these rooms. Scan the QR code in the bottom left-hand portion of your screen. Kim Adams, as she was talking about earlier, did a story on clickondetroit.com about the heat in these classrooms. But as she also just alluded to, we've got some relief on the way as we head throughout the next couple of days. For now, reporting live from Pontiac in Oakland County, I'm forewarned meteorologist Brian Sherman. Karen, we'll send it back to you.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, Brian. Meantime, it's not just kids dealing with the heat. Obviously, there are lots of people who work outdoors or in places without effective AC who are just trying to stay cool. Let's check in with Pamela Osborne.
We've been hanging out here this afternoon right near Campus Martius, and you can see there is hardly anybody out, which is pretty unusual for this time of day. And that is because of this excessive heat that we've been experiencing today. We have been around town talking to people who are working out in these conditions, and here's some of what they had to say. What are your plans? How are you going to stay cool today?
Drink a lot of water. That's all I'm gonna do, drink a lot of water, because right now I'm hot. Right now I'm hot and sweating.
Did you work yesterday too?
Yes, ma'am.
How was that at the end of the day?
It was all right. It wasn't like this.
So today it's worse?
Yes.
And it's not just people working out in the heat who are impacted by all of this. We know DPSCD, they had a half day of school today for Detroit school children because half of their buildings don't have air conditioning. Now, as far as activities go, they say they're leaving that up to individual schools. But we've been checking in with other school districts to see what their plans are. And also, we've been talking to people about how this all plays out for people who don't necessarily have a place to take shelter in this heat. Much more on that on Local 4 News at 5 and 6. Karen?
All right, thank you, Pam. Well, cleanup is now underway after a deadly explosion over in Clinton Township all the way back in March. Now, we covered it back when it happened. The Goose Smoke Shop and Select Distributors warehouse blew up, sent cans of butane and nitrous flying. People told us it was other novelty items stored there, like knives, rained down. What crews are being especially careful with right now is the hazardous waste that could be lingering.
Our efforts are going to be primarily to reduce the imminent threat, which would be the removal of everything above ground here, namely the compressed gas cylinders of N2O, cans of ultra-refined butane, and the lithium-ion batteries that are in the vape pens and the cartridges. That's also a hazardous waste as a disposal aspect.
EPA says it could take months to clean everything up. J.D. Vance in West Michigan today, his fourth visit since being named Donald Trump's running mate just a little over a month ago. He spoke in Big Rapids a few hours ago, a big focus manufacturing jobs. Vance promised to bring factory jobs to Midwest states like Michigan and boost the economy. He also said Trump will raise tariffs on companies that ship jobs overseas. In 2020, Trump lost to Biden in a close race. Vance says this year, Michigan is, quote, going red. Well, the race for Detroit mayor is heating up today. The chief executive officer of the Heat and Warmth Fund is exploring a run for mayor. Santiel Jenkins is a born and raised Detroiter who has a bachelor's and master's degree in social work from Wayne State University. Jenkins also served for several years on Detroit's city council, including as council president. Jenkins told us she's joining the race at a moment where the kind of leader that comes next really matters. Meantime, Detroit's current mayor, Mike Duggan, is serving his third term. He spoke with the mayor earlier today to see what his plans are next year.
You plan on running for a fourth term?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that right after November election. I'm totally focused on trying to get Kamala Harris elected president.
Ahead at 5, we're talking more about the possible candidates to lead Detroit and the race for mayor in 2025. Keeping weapons and drugs out of school and students safe and healthy is really a top priority for educators, and a big issue they face today is vaping. Kim DeGiulio shows us how a school in St. Clair Shores is taking some action.
When it comes to patrolling things like children bringing drugs into school or even weapons, a lot of times people think that metal detectors are the answer, or even children getting searched every day when they walk into school. But here at Lakeview High School in St. Clair Shores, they're doing something a little bit different, a friendlier method that appears to be an effective one.
Here at Lakeview High School in St. Clair Shores, they may be known as the Huskies, but it's a black lab named Moose that you'll see walking around the halls.
We use Labrador retrievers, so if the dog isn't actively working, it's available to be pet, and a day doesn't go by when we're not escorting a student, calming a student's having a bad day, going into a special needs classroom. So districts actually get a double bonus, right? They get safety and mental health.
Greg Gaitis is the founder of Zebra K9, which provides firearm, explosives, narcotics, and vape detection canine services. Moose is one of 2 dogs that the district has hired.
Moose can detect liquid THC and liquid nicotine, right, the components in vape, and then he can also detect other drugs like just straight marijuana, cocaine, crack, heroin, ecstasy.
The bottom line is, I say don't bring it. If we'll try to find it, don't bring it. So if I catch no one because of the dogs, great. Nobody bring it. That's the message.
Carl Paulson has been the superintendent in this district for 17 years. Each year brings new challenges.
The prevalence of pot shops, the prevalence is sort of ridiculous for someone who's been in this business 35 years. And for anyone to think that kids aren't getting access to that you're a fool if you think they aren't getting access.
Carl says his job is to keep it out of the schools, to make sure the students in all 7 schools in the district are exposed to a safe and healthy learning environment. Rick Hitu is a former Michigan State police officer who now trains dogs like Moose.
See, if you had it in your pocket here, he'd pull it as close as he can and then just sit.
Really?
And then his paycheck is this here.
Once a substance is detected, the handler notifies the staff.
If he picks it up, that's reasonable suspicion. So we're probably going to bring that student to the office and conduct a search.
So does it work? Carl Paulson would say yes. He says the data shows an improvement from the previous year before Moose was hired.
For the whole year, both middle school and high school showed a reduction in the amount of incidents that the administrators had to address.
Now, even though the school year has started for most districts, or will start next week, it is not too late to get a canine unit in your school district. Zebra Canine tells me that it takes 6 to 8 weeks to train a dog to be able to detect things like vape or weapons. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can reach out to them at zebracanine.com. Reporting in St. Clair Shores, I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.